Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel Vigil, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
Well, the Boston Celtics and Colorado native Derrick White are NBA champions. I feel like it's the only reason that I really care about the Celtics winning, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, is because of the connection that Derrick White has to Colorado. But we got Jake Shapiro in studio today. How you feeling? NBA finals, they're done. It's over.
Yeah, obviously really upset that the Denver Nuggets aren't champions today.
Still heartbroken.
Yeah, they should have been there. But ultimately, Derrick's one of my friends, one of the few athletes in professional sports that's one of my friends. You're surprised. I guess you didn't even know that. Derrick went to college with me.
Yeah.
We were in college at the same time. I covered the Buffs very closely. I've got a close relationship with Derrick's dad.
Wait, I knew you were acquaintances. I didn't realize you guys were like friends.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, when he was here for the All-Star game, he did the celebrity softball game. We hung out a little bit on that. And
nice.
Yeah, so Derrick's one of my friends. So like it's the first times one of my friends has like won something like this or has like done something huge like this. So like personally, just really excited for Derrick and really happy. So like even though I definitely don't like the Boston Celtics, I've been rooting for Derrick because it's cool to see your friend achieve something like this. And you know, just to put this in perspective, we're both Colorado kids.
Yeah.
Do you know how many kids from Colorado have even played in the NBA? How many people born in Colorado have played in the NBA?
Like 30, maybe?
20.
Yeah, I was going to say not very many.
So Derrick's
how many have made it to the NBA finals?
I don't have that number, but I can tell you how many have won.
Okay.
3. Derrick's one of 3 players to win an NBA finals. One was Reggie Jackson last year.
Yeah.
Then we've got, it's actually 4 off the top of my head now because it's Scott Wedman won.
Okay. I was like,
well, actually, Scott Wedman wasn't born in Colorado. So it is 3. It's Chauncey Billups, Joe Klein, Chuck Nevitt, and then Derrick White. So 4 kids from Colorado born and won an NBA title.
Wow.
And the other 2 of those 4 did not play high school ball here. So Derrick and Chauncey are the only ones that played high school ball here, and both happen to play for the Colorado Buffaloes as well.
Yeah. Okay. So that goes into kind of our question of the day is, where does Derrick White rank in best Colorado-born NBA players of all time?
Yeah.
It can't even touch Chauncey at this point.
And I said this to you a couple months back. And I don't think that this is this crazy. I do think it is when you first hear it because of Chauncey, such a legend. And Chauncey was celebrating Juneteenth in Denver this week. He's like such a part of our community. We love Chauncey, King of Park Hill.
Yeah.
But there's a chance, given the team Derrick's on, how dominant they play, and how well Derrick continues to play, that Derrick ends up as the best Colorado-born and bred athlete to play in the NBA. And I think we still are far away from that because, you know, Derrick's played 418 games in the NBA. Chauncey played 1,000. Like we're not even close to where this could be. But I'm just putting it on people's radars saying if Derrick continues at the pace he is, which he just had a career year, best numbers of across the board in his career. He's about to get paid a major contract, 2-time all defensive team NBA. He, by the way, might make the Olympic team now.
I saw that. That's so cool too.
Chauncey didn't play for the Olympic team. He bailed on the U.S. Olympic team. So
he bailed?
Yeah, he bailed. He was going to be
storyline.
part of the 2008 Olympic team. And he bailed because he wanted to be around for his family. It's not like some, big horrible reason. He was just like, they're good enough without me. They don't need me. USA won gold that year. It was one of the big LeBron years at the Olympics. So they didn't need Chauncey, but Chauncey was never on the Olympic team. The last Olympian from Colorado, I believe, to play basketball was Bertie Harrelson, which would have been 56 and 60. Wow. So we haven't had an Olympian on the U.S. basketball team
in a long time.
Okay,
nice. And you're actually going to the Olympics.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Well, you won't get to see any basketball games though, correct?
I am in Lille the day Canada plays the winner of the Greece qualifier, which would either be Greece or Slovenia. So it would either be Luka or Giannis, and I'm trying to get tickets for that.
Okay. Because Jamal, obviously, with Canada.
Yeah, and then France plays the winner of the Latvian qualifier, which is probably going to be Latvia, which would be pretty cool to see Wemby play in the Olympics in front of his home country. So,
What are you most excited to see at the Olympics? Like, there's so many cool events, right? Like, for me, it's always swimming because that's what I did growing up. So I'm curious.
Did you see any of the swimming this weekend, by the way?
No, I saw the highlights from it, but I didn't see anything. It was really sick.
The swimming, for people that don't know, was at the qualifiers were at the field house in Indianapolis. So it was in front of like 100,000 people. It was really cool. They built the swimming pool on top of the football field.
Which is so sick.
So sick. Personally, for me, I'm really excited to go to the tennis tournament.
Nice.
I've got tickets for Roland Garros, which is where the French Open is. We just saw the French Open happen.
Yep.
So the tennis tournament's on the clay courts. It's at a major stadium. I've been a tennis fan my whole life. I've never seen a professional tennis tournament. So I'm really, really excited. And I'm hopefully I can see Carlos Alcaraz and Rafael Nadal in the doubles together. That would just be a dream.
A dream. Okay. So I want to steer us back because I want to have you on for a different show for like complete Olympic talk because I feel like there's so much. But obviously with the NBA finals wrapping up and everything, I'm just curious your take on everybody keeps saying, oh, the Nuggets would have made it such a better finals. The Nuggets would have made it such a better finals. Knowing where they were and how hurt they were and how many more games they would have had to play, do you actually believe that?
Yes.
Okay.
The Dallas Mavericks have given the Boston Celtics one game to...
It's been terrible.
This point.
My point is like the Nuggets weren't healthy. A healthy Nuggets team, it could have gone to 7 games. It would have been a blast.
Well, it's unfair to say they weren't healthy because they were healthy. All of their players were hehealthy. They were just fatigued and tired. You look across the NBA, the Celtics don't even have Kristaps Porzingis right now.
I know.
Like, there are teams way more hurt than the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
So, I believe the Denver Nuggets would have given the Boston Celtics a way better matchup. I just think the Minnesota Timberwolves were designed to beat the Nuggets. Like, that was the whole thing. Tim Conley wanted payback at the Kroenkes for not giving him the money. So, and that's how that played out. The Nuggets were a better team. They would have given the Celtics problems, particularly with Porzingis out, because Al Horford would have been their best guy to guard Jokic. And Al, I love him, and I'm very happy that he's now an NBA champion. But it's not the Al Horford from 10 years ago. He just doesn't have that type of athleticism to go at Jokic for that long. And the guys left on Boston's bench really wouldn't have given Jokic much run for his money. Yeah, the Nuggets would have struggled with the guard play of the Boston Celtics, but still, I like the matchup of Aaron Gordon on Tatum. I like the matchup of KCP on Brown, but then you've got Holiday and White on Murray and Porter, and that's a little bit tough. But it's the NBA Finals. It's supposed to be tough. So do I think the Nuggets would have beaten the Boston Celtics this year? Definitely not if Kristaps Porzingis was out there playing. Without Kristaps Porzingis, it's 50-50. But I don't think this was the Denver Nuggets year, but I do think they were the best team in the West pretty clearly. Next year, this is what scares me, Rachel. All that inexperience that Oklahoma City didn't have, that everyone was like, the Nuggets would beat them. It's whatever. They're a young team. They're not going to be inexperienced next year, Rachel, and that is a good team.
Okay, real quick, back to the Tim Connolly thing, just because I find it to be such a fascinating question. He beat the Nuggets, right? Like, that had to feel real good. He was like, oh, yeah. He didn't win an NBA champion, though. Do you think he wishes he would have stayed here in Denver and was able to win it? Or do you think that there was enough joy that came out of just knocking them defending champs out?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think we need to give it another year because Tim Conley tried to get out of his contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves this year and decided to sign an option essentially for the following season where he can get out of it at the end of this next season. So I do think he misses the Denver Nuggets, as evidences of me seeing Tim Conley in the Nuggets locker room. Do we
miss Tim Connolly?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same page.
But Tim was in the Nuggets locker room after the Nuggets beat the Wolves in like game 79, which basically clinched to the West for the Nuggets before they blew that game to San Antonio.
Yeah.
So Tim has close relationships, and I'm sure he felt devastated that he wasn't part of that championship winning team. And that's part of the reason why he wanted to beat the Nuggets so bad.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, he does have more money and some opportunity with the Minnesota Timberwolves. However, their ownership situation has devolved, and it's unclear where Tim is going from here. So I would say, give me another year and I'll give you a definitive answer. Right now, I would say Tim regrets it, but a year from now, I could see Tim saying I made the right decision.
Okay, we talked about how the West was so good this year. Like, it was crazy good.
Yeah, it was way better than the East.
Way better. Is it going to be even scarier next year? Like, how close is the Nuggets championship window to closing where it's like a for sure thing?
You know, I don't think it's anywhere near where the Avs are. I think the Avs are in a bad spot just for Denver sports fans. I think the Nuggets are in a pretty good spot. They need to retool a little bit, but ultimately,
is that just getting more veteran guys, or is that your youth developing? What's the tools?
I said this last week in Coffee Break, re-signing KCP is the most important thing the Nuggets can do this offseason.
Please, I'm begging them. Please do it. Please, please, please.
And I believe they need to keep MPJ, which is a whole other thing. But so for me, it's like bringing back Justin Holiday. It's bringing in some guys like Boban Marjanovic, like some just backup Mason Plumlee, like just guys that aren't sexy, but it's basically bringing back this core with a couple other veterans and managing this roster better throughout the course of the regular season to know that, hey, we don't care about winning 57 games the regular season. We want to win in the postseason, which the Nuggets did a good job of 2 years ago, but Michael Malone didn't do a good job of this year, and he admitted it. So the biggest problem is the new collective bargaining agreement basically decentivizes teams from building the way the Nuggets have been built.
For sure.
So the Nuggets window might legitimately be this one more next year. So it might be incumbent upon them to get that done now. But is their window closed? I would say their window's open so long as Nikola Jokic is a top 5 player in the world, because the best player on the court wins oftentimes in the NBA. Jamal Murray needs to be better. That goes without saying.
James Merrilat would be so happy to hear you say that right now. Yeah, Jamal does need to be better. MPJ needs to be better. A lot of people.
MPJ was awesome. MPJ was awesome unless
great in the Lakers series.
Well, all regular season too.
Yeah,
he just wasn't good in the Minnesota series.
Yes, yeah, which is when it matters.
It mattered the whole time.
Are you a person that looks at playoff series as like a different season, or is it all the same to you?
I think the playoffs are most important, no doubt, but I think that MPJ being on the floor for 81 games the regular season matters quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the numbers if you want them, but he was like second on the team in points, third on the team in rebounds, third on the team in blocks. He was fantastic. So, yeah.
What was the one game he missed because they forgot his shoes or something?
He forgot his shoes.
Yeah.
And for him, that's fair because he needs special shoes because he has drop foot where he can't feel one of his feet because of his back surgeries. So that's a serious risk if he is not playing with his correct shoe.
Where has this story been?
The whole time. This has been out there.
How have I missed this?
I don't know. He doesn't have a feeling in one of his feet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew that he obviously was limited on feeling because of back surgery, any sort of major surgery like that. I didn't know he totally didn't have feeling.
I don't think it's like totally, but it's his feeling is heavily limited in one of his feet.
Fascinating. Yeah. I did not. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to talk about managing guys in the regular season? Yeah, I'm not going to play MPJ if there's an injury risk because he brought the wrong orthopedics.
Yeah. And then there's Jamal. What are we going to do about Jamal?
Yeah.
Does Jamal need to stop the talk of I should be an all-star, I deserve to get paid, I deserved all this?
No, because I think that motivates him. Like whether it's earned or not, it motivates him. And I've never understood the Jamal Murray's an all-star thing because he's not one of the top five guards in the West. He's just not. But the reasoning for him not signing the contract extension and wanting the Supermax makes sense because if he does have a great season, if a couple guards go down in the West and he does earn all NBA honors, he gets paid millions and millions more dollars. So it's worth Jamal Murray trying to hope he becomes an all NBA player to get that contract extension, the Supermax. But I just don't see it happening in a vacuum. So, what I need from Jamal Murray is, I thought year 2 was going to be better off the surgery as it often is for athletes than year 1. And it just wasn't. And he had leg issues all year dating back to the NBA in-season tournament, which for whatever reason, the Nuggets were trying to win early on, which again, doesn't make much sense now in retrospect. So I think the Nuggets will manage this completely differently. And they were very careful with Jamal year 1 off the surgery. They weren't as careful year 2 until they realized they had to be. So, yeah, I mean, the problem is what do you do in all those games you're not going to play Jamal Murray in? Because there's a chance Reggie Jackson goes somewhere else. He has a player option. And, you could be playing Colin Gillespie, which obviously he looked good at times, but that's a young player. You don't know what that's going to look like. Yeah. So the Nuggets are, at the point where they've been a championship team. They lack depth because of it. And Jamal Murray needs to be a guy that plays 65 games, 70 games a year and at all-star level, and that's the problem is Nikola Jokic is the only MVP in league history who's not had an all-star teammate. And we're now entering his age 30 season. Yeah,
fair. What do you think they actually do with KCP? You think they get that deal done? Do you think he leaves? Goes to play somewhere else? Retires? I don't know.
He retires.
All of the options.
Did you see he has a baby on the way? Number 5.
Not.
Yeah, his 5th kid's on the way.
Oh, that's
so congrats
exciting.
to him and his wife.
Yeah. Oh, I love that for him.
Yeah. They've got a good family. Yeah, for KCP, I think there are some teams that really make a lot of sense in free agency. It's the Philadelphia 76ers. It's the Orlando Magic. They would make a lot of sense for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and they could give him a lot of money as well. So, where I kind of rank it today, I would say the Nuggets are slight favorites, but if you said the field or the Nuggets, I'd probably take the field. And
who's a better championship window, 76ers or the Nuggets?
The Nuggets.
Just because of Jokic?
Well, has Joel Embiid proven anything to you about staying healthy? He's a year older than Nikola Jokic. He hasn't even been to a conference finals.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking Joel Embiid's future over Nikola Jokic's. The Orlando Magic one is really interesting because they've got a young team that is really dynamic and a couple really good players on it.
A good vet who's great on defense. Who knows what can happen?
Exactly. And they're in the East. They were the 4th seed this year. Like, what could happen? There's really only Boston in the East. Milwaukee's kind of a bleep show at this point.
You're not wrong.
So, I like KCP as a Denver Nugget. I think KCP loves being a Denver Nugget, but he has to play the market because this is his last contract. He's got a family that is going to be relying on him. And, this is a contract that could potentially take him up to his age 35 season. And the Nuggets, I'm sure, don't want to be paying a 35-year-old $25 million a year. But when it's in the context of next year, what number is too high to give KCP? And my answer might be there might not be a number too high, just because in the context of you either use it or lose it with KCP.
Your championship window is so small. Please just do it. Pay it. That's one of the luxuries you got with it. So, Jake Shapiro, always a pleasure, my friend.
Of course.
You got anything popping over at denversports.com? What's new?
Well, we've got that fun article on Derrick White being one of the few Colorado's natives to win. We have all the up-to-date info on who is and who isn't making Olympics rosters. The big one this week, Wyndham Clark.
I know.
Congrats to our friend here.
I know.
Although he went to Valor, so that dings it down a little bit.
Just a bit.
A little bit.
Sorry, any
us public school kids here in Colorado.
No, that's the truest statement. Well, I appreciate your time, my friend, and thank you so much. I can't wait. We're going to sit down and do a full show when Jake goes to the Olympics because I can't wait. I also can't wait for the recap. And thank you to all of you who are hanging out with us in the comments and everything else. I appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.